friend. Welcome to the Fruitful Fertility Podcast. Do you want to better understand your body so you can get pregnant naturally? Do you find yourself up late at night Googling how to ovulate on your own or natural fertility tips? Do you feel lost on what your next step should be? Hey, I'm Tori, a registered nurse, Christian fertility coach, and your new TTC BFF. When I started my fertility practice, I realized how much the modern medical system was missing when it came to supporting women trying to get pregnant. I knew God had called me to this space to bridge that gap and provide more natural fertility support and education. With time and a little trial and error, I found a foundational way to assess infertility cases and get better results. In this podcast, you will finally understand how your body and fertility work, support to stay off that emotional roller coaster, and a proven strategy to improve ovulation and increase your fertility naturally. If you're ready to get started, drop those ovulation sticks and grab a pen because, girl, you look fertile to me. This episode goes out to all my PCOS girlies. We're going to take care of you today because I have noticed in the Facebook groups I'm in that you guys are overwhelmed because you feel like you have this really big hurdle to get over to even think about getting pregnant. And while yes, PCOS does cause a hurdle, girl, we have the tools, we have the skills, we have the knowledge to get you over that hurdle. And yes, you can get pregnant. Often I get asked, can I get pregnant with PCOS? And yes, you can. I've seen it happen before. It'll happen again. PCOS is not too big for God. It feels very big to us and it is a bit of a booger, but that is okay. We're going to talk about that today. We're actually going to talk about the one thing you need to focus on that's going to make the biggest difference, that's going to help regulate your cycles, help you ovulate, and help you get pregnant. So I'm going to talk about that today, and I'm going to give you 4 tips to follow. So stay through the end because all of these are equally important and all work together. So first, let's talk really quickly on just a little bit about PCOS. So PCOS has no known cause, and we tend to think of it as just meaning we have cysts on our ovaries, but it's actually like a metabolic and hormonal issue that we're dealing with. So it's not just that we're having cysts, but there's something else going on. There's a bigger picture going on, and it's really that our system is overloaded. And I think some of us are just a little more sensitive to it, and that's why it causes issues. But really, I talk a lot about how infertility is rising because of the world we live in, because of the low quality food that we have at our disposal all the time, our really hectic work schedules that don't fit in a normal rhythm, the blue light we're exposed to that messes up our circadian rhythm. So now we're not sleeping like we should. Like there's just a lot of stress, and sometimes we don't even realize what kind of stress it is on our body that's causing these issues. PCOS is also often linked to low magnesium, low zinc, and low chromium. So if you've been around at all, you know I'm all about mineral balancing. I'm all about nervous system regulation. And so PCOS can even be a mineral deficiency. We can improve our symptoms and irregular periods and ovulation, all that, just by working on minerals. But really, when you're working on your nervous system, you're also working on your mineral balance because that stress from a dysregulated nervous system also messes with your mineral levels. So that's kind of a different tangent, but I just wanted to see how that is connected. So I know when you go to the doctor, it can feel overwhelming because this condition has no known cause. No one can really put their finger on it. And then when you're trying to get pregnant and you go to the doctor to get help, they either want to put you on birth control or metformin, neither of which feel super fitting. And I have personally never been on metformin before, but I have seen in the group that a lot of you girls talk about how, girls, gals, ladies, women, whatever you prefer to be called, my friends, my fertility friends, that when you take metformin, you just don't feel good on it. You kind of feel yucky on it. And so it's just not a popular option. And to me, not a fitting option of a place to start. I get the science there of PCOS does cause insulin resistance, which means you're dealing with really wonky high blood sugars. And so metformin is a medication that is meant to help regulate those blood sugars. So that makes sense, but it's not really getting to the root cause of why you're having these irregular blood sugars in the first place. And that's kind of what our tips are going to be built on today. So also, the causes, what's going on with PCOS is the insulin resistance is leading to high androgens, and the high levels of androgens, which are those male hormones, which is why sometimes you get facial hair, things like that. It interferes with the development of follicles, so our ovaries can't really make like mature follicles to actually ovulate. It obviously messes with our normal hormone balance too, like our LH or FSH. They get kind of off track too. So it just makes it harder for the body to ovulate because the high blood sugars or unregulated blood sugars are leading to more androgens, and more androgens are interfering with our body's ability to ovulate naturally. So that's kind of what's happening. So that's why today I want to talk about how to regulate your blood sugar in super simple ways, because with PCOS, your biggest priority, the thing you've got to work on the most, and really more than everybody, which is not fair, but it is what it is, because everybody can benefit from better blood sugar balance. But especially if you are a PCOS girl, this is where I want you to put your effort. So if you are someone who is overwhelmed, you're spiraling, you don't know what to do, I want you to focus on your blood sugar. I want you to do these things we're about to talk about, and I want you to do them as consistently as possible. And then I want you to tell me in another 2 to 3 months what happens with your cycle, because I have seen it make a difference. I have seen blood sugar regulation make a big difference in the lives of my clients. One of my very first clients, you guys have heard me talk about her before. She was my Canadian gal, and when she came to me, she hadn't had a period in like 4 or 5 months. So we started there. I was like, all right, we got to focus on getting this period back, and the way we're going to do that is by focusing on our blood sugar balance. So we did for another 4 months, I think it took about 3 or 4 months, and she got her period back, and she had her period on a regular basis every month after it came back, and then she was pregnant 5 months after that. So in 9 months, she was pregnant naturally, and when she came to me, she did not even have a period. So be inspired by that. That is possible for you too. Okay, so let's get to the good stuff, what you actually want to know. How do we regulate blood sugar? These are going to sound really simple. They're going to sound like almost too simple, but I promise you they will make a difference. So number 1 is don't drink coffee for breakfast. You need to eat breakfast every morning. And I want you to think hearty, savory. I don't want you to think like oatmeal and fruit. I want you to think like eggs and bacon, or you can do a protein shake. You want high protein, but most importantly, if you are a coffee drinker like me, you are going to have to eat breakfast before you drink your coffee. Your coffee is not your breakfast. Because what happens is we get up in the morning, and we take an empty stomach and we pour caffeine on it, which raises our cortisol. And if you're anything like me, you're not drinking black coffee because you're not boring. You like the creamer, you like the half and half, you like the sugar, honey, whatever you put in it. But if we have nothing on our stomach and then we pour caffeine mixed with sugar on it, that is going to jack up our blood sugar first thing in the morning. And then you're kind of chasing it the rest of the day. So I want you to focus on eating within an hour of waking up, and I want you to think protein. So the number 2 tip is 30 grams of protein per meal. So we're going to have at least 3 meals, right? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and each one needs to have 30 grams of protein. Now this, you can work up to this because this can be hard to get 30 grams of protein right out the gate. If you need to start with 20 and work your way up, that's fine. But I really want you to aim for 30. So you're going to have a breakfast with 30 grams of protein in it before you drink your coffee. Your coffee is your prize for finishing your protein-filled breakfast, okay? I would not dare take your coffee away from you because you can rip my iced coffee out of my cold dead hands. But we are going to eat first, and we're going to aim for that 30 grams of protein per meal. So probably get tired of talking about protein all the time, right? I feel like it's everywhere, protein, 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 and it does get kind of boring and it does get kind of annoying, but it really does make a difference. You will start to notice you don't have that 2-3 o'clock crash when you are eating enough protein throughout the day. You have more energy, you feel better. It really helps regulate those blood sugars, and those blood sugars affect our energy and what's going on within our body. So if you are someone who doesn't typically eat breakfast, if you're like, Tori, I'm not hungry when I wake up, I understand that too. You're going to be someone who's going to do a protein shake. Keep it simple. Just drink it on the way to work so you don't have to cook like a whole meal. Meal prepping is also really great. This is, if you are a ChatGPT person, this is where ChatGPT comes in so handy. You can pop in there, hey, I need a breakfast with 30 grams of protein in it, fiber, and healthy fat. I do not like, list all the things you don't like, and say, I need 5 meals this week for breakfast. And it will give you 5 easy meals. You can even continue to tweak it, like that I can cook in less than 10 minutes, that I can prepare ahead of time, that are cold. like if you need to just grab something and go. But we really want 30 grams of protein every morning. So use ChatGPT if that's helpful. Inside the Conception Connection, I actually have meal plans for you. I have ideas in the group. One of our friends in the group just actually shared her meal plan for the whole week. So this is where the community comes in really handy, because you're kind of working through this curriculum together. So not only am I handing you the roadmap, the steps, whether it comes to blood sugar regulation or nervous system regulation and all the pieces that go together, but you're working through it together. Maybe not all on the same timeline, because people come in the membership at different times, but it's all the same curriculum. And then you have people that have already passed that section. They're like, hey, here's the meal plan I use. You don't even have to get on ChatGPT. Here's what I use. So it's really a collective effort, so you feel like you're in this with someone. So a step-by-step plan that tells you exactly what to do, and a community of women that are doing it with you. That is a win-win, absolute win-win. But let's get back to the tips we're talking about here. So we said, don't drink coffee for breakfast. You got to actually eat breakfast. We're going to eat 30 grams of protein per meal, especially at breakfast. And the third one is take a 10-minute walk after meals. And that sounds like a little annoying probably, but I want you to think about how easy that actually would be. Just 10 minutes. This does not have to be an hour-long workout. This can be really simple, just 10 minutes. This could be around the parking lot at your office. This could be up and down the stairs at your office, up and down the hallways. It does not need to be fancy. You don't have to change clothes. You don't have to break a sweat. We are just going to walk for 10 minutes after we eat. So after breakfast, after lunch, and after dinner. After dinner, make it something that you and your hubby do together. Maybe you eat dinner together and then you go for a walk around the neighborhood before you go to bed. But those tiny walks, even if you can only do 5 minutes, do 5 minutes. But those tiny walks will really help your body after you eat those meals to regulate your blood sugar better. It's going to be really, really helpful. My last tip is a supplement suggestion. So again, this is not medical advice. These are just tips. This is just education. And I know you guys love supplements because supplements feel like those quick fixes. While I want to make sure that you really understand that the lifestyle factors like eating 30 grams of protein for a meal, actually eating breakfast and not skipping it and just drinking coffee, those are the things that make the biggest difference. But supplements can be helpful. I just want you to know they're not the whole shebang. They only complement the lifestyle changes you make. They are not the whole cake. They are the icing on the cake. But if we want to implement some supplements for blood sugar regulation and PCOS, I've got 2 suggestions today. Number 1 is going to be Rise and Source from Frequence. I'm going to link this in the show notes below. If you follow me on Instagram, I have been talking about this in my stories. I started taking these supplements about a month ago and really almost to disprove them, to be honest. They're frequency charged, they're full of adaptogens and nootropics and trace minerals, which are really great for mineral balancing. So I really liked the science. I liked it on paper. I was like, I don't know about this frequency charged stuff, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to just try it and see what it's about. And it's kind of a drink mix that you drink. But the more that I drink it, the better I feel. The more I research it to prove honestly, I have been researching it to prove that it's not a good option, which sounds terrible. But the more I research it, the more I'm like, this could actually be amazing. This could actually be one of the biggest and most helpful tools that any of us can implement. But especially those with us with PCOS, because again, PCOS doesn't have a known cause, but it can often come from chronic stress and what we talk about HPA axis dysfunction, which is hypothalamus pituitary adrenal dysfunction, or adrenal hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. And this is just a fancy way of saying this is how your brain communicates with your adrenals to know how to respond to stress. And so when we're overly stressed, that HPA axis is not communicating well. And so this can lead to high or dysregulated cortisol, which obviously impacts our body's ability to feel safe. And again, we cannot get pregnant if our body does not feel safe, and it affects blood sugar. So that's just a fancy way to say that PCOS can have a nervous system and stress-related component, and the Rise from Frequence has adaptogens and nootropics in it that are really good for calming that nervous system. So you calm the stress system, you can help improve ovulation, because stress is what blocks ovulation. The source is the trace minerals. It has the humic and fulvic acid, which is also helpful for detoxification. But those key minerals can help regulate blood sugar. Remember, I said PCOS is often connected to low magnesium, low zinc, low chromium. We'll find those in the source, which is the liquid blend that has the trace minerals in it. Then the nootropics help with energy and focus. So the more energy we have, the more likely we are to do things like take 10-minute walks after our meals. And so I am just really impressed with this combination of ingredients together. I think it would be really great for anybody struggling with infertility because it supports the nervous system, it supports mineral balancing, it supports energy, it supports mitochondrial health, which is, the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Remember that from 7th grade? There's a lot in science and health right now that's talking about how the mitochondria of your cells is so important because however much energy our cells have to carry out the things they're supposed to do is important. We need gas in the tank, right? So supporting that mitochondrial health with Rise and Source would be really beneficial. I also just personally love the taste of it. It's this mango lemonade flavor, but it kind of tastes more like an Arnold Palmer, like with a hint of peach or something. It's really good. It's really light and really tasty. It's really easy for me to drink. And so that's why I'm starting to recommend it because the ingredients are there, the quality is there, the ease of taking it is there. And I just think it could be really powerful. If you need something more simple, just pointed towards just blood sugar regulation, which is where we want to start with PCOS, you could try Berberine. A lot of times we hear everyone talking about inositol as a blood sugar regulator for women with PCOS who are trying to get pregnant, and that is a good option, but I have found the studies that I have read, it seems like Berberine is a little bit stronger option in my opinion. I read one study that said that Berberine was just as effective as metformin. So this helps with improving insulin sensitivity, which is going to help support ovulation. So this is kind of a short-term thing. You wouldn't want to be on Berberine for a long time. This is something you can talk about with your doctor or your naturopath or whoever you're working with. You can come, if you join the Conception Connection, we can talk about it on our monthly group coaching calls. But that is also another really great option for supporting blood sugar when you have PCOS. If you are looking for more support on your fertility journey, I want to invite you to come check out the Conception Connection. It'll be linked in the show notes below. But again, like I mentioned before, this is where I'm giving you this step-by-step checklist of what to do to improve your fertility so you're not Googling, you're not wasting time on TikTok, wondering what to do, scanning Facebook groups to figure out what worked for so-and-so. This is a strategic plan that builds on itself. It's meant to be incorporated in your daily routine very easily. This is not like I'm not overhauling your life and you have to change everything about your daily routine. It's very simple steps that make a big difference. And again, this is with a community of women going through the same steps as you. And you also get monthly group coaching calls with me. We're going to hop on Zoom face to face. We're all going to talk through our questions, work through it together. So if you're not getting that support at your doctor and he's only offering you metformin and Clomid and you're just feeling a little lost, this is where I want you to come. This is where you're going to get answers that you need. This is where you're going to get accountability, encouragement, and biblical truth poured over you so that you can keep going. So prayerfully consider that as your next step in your fertility journey. I'm going to recap what we talked about really quickly, and then we'll be ready to roll. So the number one thing we're going to focus on with PCOS is regulating our blood sugar. We're not going to drink coffee for breakfast, but actually have a good hearty meal. We're going to have 30 grams of protein per meal. If we need to work up to it, that's fine. If you need to start with 20, that's okay, but we're going to work up to 30. We're going to take 10-minute walks after our meals to help our body regulate that sugar. If we want to implement a supplement, if we want like full body, full fertility, full foundational support for fertility and PCOS, we're going to go with Rise and Source. If we're looking for just something small to incorporate, we're going to go with Berberine. That was linked in the show notes as well through FullScript. You can grab that there, but that is something really simple you can do. And we're just going to do that for now. I don't want you to, again, the name of the game is to not get overwhelmed with too much information. I just want you to start with these few things, stay consistent with them, come join us in Conception Connection when you're ready for more support, and we will help you get pregnant, friend. I believe in your ability to get pregnant even with PCOS, and I hope you do too. Keep tuning in, and I will see you next week. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If this episode touched your heart or taught you something, I'd be honored if you share it with a friend who could use the information too. And if you want to be the real MVP, then would you also take 30 seconds to tap those 5 stars at the bottom and leave a written review telling me what you're loving? It lights me up to know this podcast is really helping you. Don't forget, you're super cute and super fertile, so meet me back here next week and let's keep chatting and learning together.